Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now. If you've been paying attention around the league lately, you might have caught wind of some serious rumors swirling about a potential blockbuster trade involving Higgins, the talented wide receiver from the Cincinnati Bengals. And believe me, Steelers fans, this isn't just some idle speculation. There's real smoke behind this fire, and it could have major implications for the AFC North, and more importantly, for Pittsburgh's Super Bowl aspirations in the upcoming seasons. To give you the full picture, sources like Diana Rossini have leaked some bombshell details about a shock intra-division deal, one that could shake up the entire landscape of the AFC North. The buzz is that Higgins, a guy with hands like velvet and a knack for winning contested catches, could be heading to the Steelers in exchange for a pair of draft picks, specifically a second-round pick in 2026 and a third-round pick in 2027. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds too good to be true. But folks, the details are swirling and the timing makes sense given the current state of both teams. Let's break down what this move could mean. Higgins, who's been a key piece for the Bengals, is having a solid yet somewhat underwhelming season so far, with Cincinnati sitting at 3-6. Their offense has scored just 224 points, and they're leaking points on defense, allowing over 300 points this season. Higgins has been reliable. Last year, he put up 32 catches for 481 yards and 6 touchdowns, averaging 15 yards per catch, with a PFF grade around 76.5. He's a versatile receiver, capable of lining up on the outside or in the slot, and he's got that YAC ability that could really help the Steelers' offense. Adding Higgins to the Steelers' roster would be a game changer, especially considering the team's current receiver core. George Pickens has been electric when healthy, but pairing him with a proven, consistent receiver like Higgins could elevate the Steelers' passing game to new heights. The duo could combine for over 800 yards, creating mismatches all over the field. Plus, Higgins' presence would open up the play-action game even more, giving Kenny Pickett more options and helping to balance out the offense, which has been heavily reliant on the run and intermediate routes. And let's not forget about the impact on the red zone. Higgins has shown he can be a reliable target in tight spaces, and with his contested catch rate hovering around 50%, he could become a favorite target for Pickett in those crucial moments. His ability to make plays in traffic would complement Pickens' deep threat style, making the Steelers' offense much more unpredictable for defenses. The Steelers are sitting at a cap space of around $3.5 million, which is tight but manageable, especially if they decide to make some roster adjustments leading into the deadline. From Cincinnati's perspective, they're clearly in a rebuild mode. Their focus seems to be on extending Jamar Chase, the star wide receiver, and freeing up cap space, shown by their efforts to clear Higgins' $12 million salary. With their defense also struggling, giving up a talented receiver like Higgins makes sense if they want to focus on building the team around Chase and developing younger players. Still, losing Higgins would leave a noticeable gap in their offense, one that the Steelers could exploit. Now, imagine the impact of Higgins joining the Steelers. His versatility and experience would add much-needed depth and explosiveness to an offense that's been somewhat inconsistent. With Harris running hard at 4-5 yards per carry, the Steelers have a solid foundation on the ground. Higgins' addition would help open up the field, creating more space for the run game and allowing the offense to sustain drives longer. And with the defense still formidable, especially when they're healthy, this move could push Pittsburgh into a new level of competitiveness. Speaking of the defense, injuries like Highsmith's pectoral strain have put some pressure on the pass rush, but the team's overall defense remains a strength. Adding a receiver like Higgins would also give the Steelers more leverage in tight games, especially in the red zone where they've already seen an increase in scoring efficiency this season, jumping from 23.6 to 27 points per game with improved EPA per pass and better third-down conversions. Now, the trade doesn't just make sense from a talent perspective. It also shifts the odds in Pittsburgh's favor. The Super Bowl odds have already started to move. Initially at plus 1,500, they've been bumped down to plus 800, reflecting increased confidence in the team's potential. Higgins, with his contested catch rate of around 50%, and his ability to win in clutch moments, could be the X factor that pushes the Steelers from a solid team to a legit contender. His experience in big games, including a rookie All-Pro season in 2020, brings a veteran presence that could be vital in playoff push scenarios. Looking at the AFC North, this move could be a real game changer. The Bengals are clearly reevaluating their roster, and if they trade Higgins, the division title race could open wide for Pittsburgh. Imagine a Steelers offense that now features Pickens' explosive deep game paired with Higgins' reliability on crossing routes and contested catches. It's a recipe that could make defenses second-guess themselves and force them to pick their poison. Of course, there are skeptics in Cincinnati who see the Bengals' current record and question whether they're willing to part with such a talented receiver. They've struggled on third downs, around 44%, and their offensive line has been a work in progress, which might have contributed to their decision to clear some cap space, potentially freeing up enough to make this deal happen. If Higgins leaves, Cincinnati will need to focus on how they plan to replace that production. But for now, it seems like they're prioritizing their long-term plans, especially with Chase's extension likely on the horizon. For the Steelers, this trade would be a statement move. It signals that they're all in, looking to capitalize on the window they have with a talented roster and a young quarterback. Higgins' versatility complements the team's physical style. He would add another dimension to the offense that is already built around Harris's ground game and a solid offensive line. Plus, with the team's defense still boasting playmakers like Highsmith and Minkah Fitzpatrick, Pittsburgh could become one of the most balanced teams in the league. The timing couldn't be better. With the trade deadline approaching, the Steelers are quietly assessing their options, and adding Higgins could be the piece that propels them into serious postseason contention. The AFC is wide open this year, with teams like Kansas City, Buffalo, and Miami all vying for supremacy, but Pittsburgh's balanced attack and improved defense make them a dark horse. Higgins' addition would elevate their offensive ceiling, giving Kenny Pickett a true #1 receiver who can win in every situation. And let's talk about the future for a moment. If Pittsburgh manages to pull off this trade, they're not just making a short-term move. They're sending a message that they're committed to winning now and building something long-lasting. Higgins' contract situation, cap implications, and the draft picks involved all point to a strategic move designed to maximize their chances over the next few seasons. With the franchise's rich history of drafting and developing talent, this could be the start of a new chapter, one that sees the Steelers competing at the highest level once again. So, Steelers fans, keep your eyes peeled. This trade rumor is gaining momentum, and if it happens, it could be one of the most significant transactions in recent franchise history. It's exciting to think about what this means for Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, and the entire offense. A dynamic duo of Higgins and Pickens could become one of the most feared combinations in the league, especially with the Steelers' physical offensive line paving the way and a defense ready to make big plays. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, it's clear that the Steelers aren't just content to sit back and wait. They're making moves, and if this trade goes through, it's a clear statement that they're all in on competing for a Super Bowl title. The AFC North is a tough, gritty division, but with Higgins in the fold, Pittsburgh's offense gets a serious boost, one that could help them turn the tide against divisional rivals and establish themselves as true contenders. This potential move also has implications for the betting odds. The Super Bowl futures have already shifted, with Steelers odds improving from +1,500 to around +800, reflecting growing confidence in their championship potential. Higgins' contested catch rate of 50% and his ability to win in tight spots make him an ideal fit for the Steelers' style, physical, relentless, and always ready to fight for every inch on the field. His presence could be the final piece that propels Pittsburgh into that elite tier of teams vying for the Lombardi Trophy. Of course, nothing is set in stone yet. The trade deadline is fast approaching, and the Steelers will be monitoring the situation closely. But if they can pull this off, Steelers Nation, get ready for a roller coaster ride, because this team could be on the verge of something special. The combination of a talented offense, a stout defense, and now a potential superstar receiver like Higgins could be what takes them from playoff hopefuls to legitimate Super Bowl contenders. So stay tuned, folks. This story is far from over, and I'll be here to bring you all the latest updates, rumors, and analysis as they unfold. The Steelers are always about making bold moves when it counts, and this could very well be one of those defining moments for the franchise. Keep your passion fired up, and let's see what the future holds for Pittsburgh. The journey to another Super Bowl is always challenging, but with the right moves, it's absolutely within reach. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news.